Everyone does. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get into this. Everyone ready?
I love it when you eat the Quran.
Can you tell me how to eat the Quran with hikmah and all right, guys, let's go ahead and check out what got this all started. So someone brought up this was just, I think this was Hijab posting that he had graduated from Al-Azhar. I don't know if that's authentic or if that's just one of his dad's trick degrees or something like that. Don't know. But then someone said something about Muhammad and Aisha, and then Muhammed Hijab, or someone else said something about Rebecca being 3 or whatever. Matter of fact, why don't I just scroll up and see what happens? Not a single verse mentioned there. Aisha, according to us, was 3 times older than Rebecca, according to Genesis. There you go. Look at that. So someone asked how old Aisha was. He said, Aisha, according to us, was 3 times older than Rebecca, according to Genesis. Got that? So he's saying that in Genesis, so Aisha was 9. Muhammad Hijab acknowledges that. And therefore, Rebecca would be 3, according to Muhammad Hijab. Matter of fact, according to Genesis, according to what he's saying. And then Luciano says, correctly, not a single verse in Genesis mentions her age. And then we have age, and then we have the math. Gotta love Dawa math here, ladies and gentlemen. Except, guys, they all cut and paste this same thing. This is not Hijab coming up with this. They all cut and paste the same little thing. You can find it all over the place. But you can always, once you know what they did, once you know where the lie occurs, then it's easy to expose. And it's just it's really amazing because, again, the math here does not work without the lie. And the lie is always about Genesis 22. They say it says something that it does not say. Right? So let's check this out. Muhammad Hijab says, Sarah gave birth to Isaac at 90. Genesis 17. And this is, you have to watch Dawa guys when they give sources, because they give sources just to pretend, right? They give sources hoping that you will never look up the sources. And matter of fact, knowing that their followers will never in 100 million years look up sources, right? It's the 99-1 rule. Sarah gave birth to Isaac at 90, Genesis 17. She died at 127, Genesis 23, 1-3, meaning Isaac was 37 when she passed. So they're trying to establish a timeline here. So Isaac was 37 when Sarah died. The Mount Moriah incident, Genesis 22, and the birth of Rebecca occurred simultaneously, aligning with Sarah's death. That's the lie. There's nothing at all in Genesis 22 that says the birth of Rebecca, the Mount Moriah incident, and Sarah's death all occurred simultaneously. We'll look at the passage. We'll look at the passage later. All it says is Abraham heard about all the people who've been born since he's left. One of those people was Rebecca. It lists a bunch of other people. In other words, Abraham had left home way earlier, and he finally got news from home, and he hears about all his relatives that have been born. And they say, oh, right there when he heard it, that's when all of these people must have been born right at that second. That is insane. That is absurd. It's not what the text says at all. And without that lie, you can't get Rebecca was 3. And therefore, Rebecca was born when Isaac was 37. Isaac married Rebecca at 40, Genesis 25:20, making her no older than 3, perhaps slightly older, like 3 years and 1 month, depending on how you interpret Nahor's family timeline, Genesis 22, 20-24. Genesis presents the details. The math reveals the implications. You guys get that? Genesis presents the details. The math reveals the implications. Only problem is Genesis does not say this. It's a lie, and his math is based upon a lie. But he knows his followers are too stupid. He knows that when we expose the lie, his followers will just believe him because they're programmed to. And I have to say, this is a sad reality. It's not just psychological. It's not just the psychological allegiance to your Dawa guy. The Dawa fans, especially the fans of Muhammad Hijab, they seem so stupid that they don't understand what you're saying. Like if you say, here's what Genesis 22 actually said, they will not understand anything you're saying. They're too dumb. Like 100 generations of first cousin marriage has destroyed their ability to actually understand anything you're saying. And so all they have is their allegiance to Dawa. Anyway, so that's what Hijab posted. You got a basic little thing from Brother Rashid here. Brother Rashid says, "Do you really believe that a 3-year-old girl could draw water from a well, pour it into a jar, and carry it on her shoulders?" And by the way, it's not just like one jar of water. She watered 10 camels. She watered 10 camels. A 3-year-old, and a jar back then would have been like a big clay jar. You lower it down in this well, fill it with water, and then you haul this thing up. And she kept doing that for 10 camels. 3-year-old, very impressive 3-year-old. Are you so desperate to justify your prophet's actions that you would distort events and misrepresent the truth? Well, there's no question that he would distort events and misrepresent the truth. What's crazy, again, is that he'll do this about Abraham and Isaac. Abraham and Isaac. So the story, guys, is that Abraham sent his servant to get this bride for Isaac. Hijab argues that it was a 3-year-old. So what's that mean? That Abraham sends his servant out to get a 3-year-old to have sex with his son. So what's that mean? That means these guys are all pedophiles, right? They're all pedophiles. They all think having sex with prepubescent little 3-year-olds is good. That's what Hijab is accusing them of. Anyway, let's go ahead and see what Brother Rashid says here. See, I'm just standing beside this spring and so on. Anyway, you get down to the part about Rebecca. Before he had finished praying, Rebecca came out with her jar on her shoulder. She was the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, who was the wife of Abraham's brother Nahor. The woman was very beautiful. Woman? Wait a minute. I thought 3-year-old girl. The woman was very beautiful, a virgin. No man had ever slept with her. She went down to the spring,
Actually,
filled her.
It's 3-year-old woman. So.
Yeah, 3-year-old woman. Yes, we believe we just have different views of what women are. The woman was very beautiful, a virgin. No man had ever slept with her. She went down to the spring, filled her jar, and came up again. So went to the spring, filled her jar, came up again. Servant hurried to meet her. "Please give me a little water from your jar." "Drink, my lord," she said, and quickly lowered the jar to her hands and gave him a drink. After she had given him a drink, she said, "I'll draw water for your camels too." And then she drew all the water for the camels. And so you have someone giving. This is Muhammed Hijab's idea of Rebecca. You're missing this, AP.
Oh, yeah.
Here's Rebecca, according to Muhammed Hijab. Little 3-year-old. Absolutely shredded. Absolutely shredded. And she would have to be, right? She's hauling water. She's hauling water for 10 camels. And so, guys,
The She-Hulk.
in reality, Genesis never gives an age for Rebecca. The only indication it gives is she's called a woman or a maiden or young woman. It said that she's a virgin and that she's in charge of the chores of getting water and stuff in the water jar, and she does things like water the camels and so on. That's it. That's what you have to go on as far as the Bible is concerned. So when we ask, is this correct? Is this correct that you could do the math here and get an age of 3 for Rebecca? The answer is no.